Hello, it's Greg and Gaijin. We're back. We hope you're having a happy day wherever you're listening to this audio content from. As always, we'd like to thank you for your continued support of Greg and Gaijin social media and writing efforts. Thank you. This is episode 017 of the Greg and Gaijin. Definitely not a podcast show. A light and fluffy look at social media, Japan, Japanese food, expat life, and life in general. As always, your retweets of this and all the wonderful content that we actively tweet and retweet on Craig Hoffman11 on Twitter is appreciated. Thank you in advance for your help in getting the good word out about Grey, Grizzled, and Gaijin. Today's episode by request from the Grey, Grizzled, and Gaijin mailbag. What are some obstacles and challenges that new foreigners and old run into while living here in Japan? It's a good question, and we hope to hit some of the bigger highlights of the problems and challenges that we have personally experienced and many of the people that we have encountered here over our 13 plus years in Japan. The first issue for the majority of foreigners is money, specifically money management. For many of the younger foreigners, even those who come over on a higher paying job like the JET program, it's the first time that they've had to pay their own bills. It's the first time that mom and dad are not saying you can't do that. I often say to new foreigners, your mother doesn't live here, and she doesn't. That can be a real challenge for many people. They don't have an idea of what things cost, of course, in Japan early on, food and entertainment. And, of course, things like the electric bills, cell phone bills, and for some of them, they do pay a bit of rent. And for many, that's the first time that they've had to do that. And they end up running short. I knew a foreigner years ago who was so excited to receive the first check from his JET program job. He went out with many foreigners, karaoke, traveling, drinking, and eating, and enjoying life. And 5 days before the next check, someone from his bank called, and he had already bounced a bank transfer for money to pay his student loans. And that caused a fair amount of grief for him. You have to have a budget. I don't know that you have to go line by line, although back when I was a single man, I did. I knew where every yen was going in my life, and I was able to save a fair amount of money from the first 5 years of my English teaching job here. You can save money. It is possible. That I can tell you. The second part I will tell you is that people have trouble with time management. There's something about foreign people when they come here that they simply can't show up on time, and Japanese people are almost always on time, if not a bit early, sometimes a bit too early, and that too causes problems. I knew another foreigner who was late to his job every single day he was there. In fact, he found the job, quote unquote, beneath him, and he decided that he would go into school from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2:30 Monday to Friday. Of course, being Japan, the school didn't say anything at first. They chalked it up to him being new and not used to the quote-unquote working style of Japan. An English teacher came his way and gently suggested that he should be here on time for the morning meeting, which was at 8:15. The foreigner dismissed that English teacher. About 2 weeks later, the vice principal came and kind of gave a strong nudge again with help from the English teacher as a translator. And still the same foreigner showed up at 10 a.m. every day to his job. Finally, there was a little meeting with the school board and the principal, and they mutually, quote unquote, decided that that guy would not be recontracted for the next year, which is basically unheard of in the JET program. But they parted ways, and that guy was still to this day completely shocked that he didn't see it coming, but he should have. The final thing that we'll talk about here for mistakes that new and old foreigners make is missing the connection to people back home. Sadly, the more time passes, the less you have in common with those you used to live with every day. I remember when I was first here, I called my mother every week, and I still do that, and we talked a lot about friends and family that we both knew back home. Fast forward, these days our conversations are just general things about my life and my family here, and I check in on her to make sure her health is good, and we very rarely go into deep specifics about anything going on in each other's lives because we simply have no frame of reference to really understand that. I work really hard on my private social media, Facebook, to stay connected with my beloved family and friends. That's something that's important to me, and I like to show my friends and family that despite living here for likely until the end of my natural life, I have not forgotten about them. But I see a lot of foreigners who, when living here, forget about their friends and family, and I see a lot of foreigners, when they leave here, forget about the good friends that they made here. Some of my foreigner friends that I used to talk to every day here have not written me since they left this island, and I'd be lying to tell you that that doesn't bother me, at least on some level. It's important to stay connected to your friends and family, whether they live here or not. That's it, and have a great day.